Are you confused as to how to start preparing for the IELTS writing module? Well, you're in luck because in this video, we will look at how to approach the IELTS essay and how to spend the 40 minutes dedicated to writing task 2. If you're interested, stay tuned.
Hi, and welcome to Choose Canada. This is Roshan,
and Lalita.
and we are here to help you immigrate and live in Canada.
We upload videos on immigrating to Canada and scoring high in IELTS almost every week. So, if you are new here and interested in our content, make sure you press that subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you stay up to date with our latest videos.
Let's first look at the time available for you for completing your writing module. The total time that is given to you for completing the writing module is 1 hour. Within this 1 hour, you need to complete both the writing task 1 and the writing task 2. As far as the band score is concerned, the essay is worth twice the letter, which means that you will need to dedicate twice the amount of time for writing the essay when compared to the letter. So, dividing the time in this manner, the ideal time that you need to dedicate for writing the letter or writing task 1 is 20 minutes. On the other hand, the ideal time for writing the essay is 40 minutes. So let's look at how you can dedicate the 40 minutes that you have for writing the essay. So first you have the planning, for which you need to dedicate around 5 to 8 minutes. Then you have the writing part, for which you need to dedicate 25 to 30 minutes. After which you need to dedicate 5 to 8 minutes just for correcting your essay. So let's look at what you need to do in each stages of the essay writing. First, let's look at the planning. So as far as planning is concerned, you need to dedicate at least 5 minutes to 8 minutes. Since planning is the most important part of the essay writing process, it's very important that you plan your essays before you start writing them. This is because if you're planning your essays well ahead of time, you know how to write your essays and you will not be wasting thinking about the content of the essay when you're writing. It's also important that you do not plan only for the central points of the essay. Let's say you decided to have 2 body paragraphs, and each of these body paragraphs should contain a central idea. It's not enough if you just decide what are these central ideas. You need to decide how you're going to explain this central idea, what examples you're going to give, and etc. So the easiest method to plan your body paragraphs is using the CEEC method. We have already covered using the CEEC method in another video. You can view that video in case you have not watched it already. But just for the purpose of people who haven't watched the CEEC video, let me explain in a brief manner what CEEC stands for. Within the CEEC, the C stands for central point, E stands for extension or explanation, the second E stands for example, and the last C stands for closing statement. So these are parts of the body paragraphs which are necessary to give structure within the body paragraph, where you will be starting by summarizing the central point that you're going to explain about, and then you will start to explain the central point. Then you will be giving a relevant example to support your central point, and you will be giving a closing statement to conclude the body paragraph. So here is an example question. You can pause this video and plan your body paragraph for this question. Take just one central point and plan for the explanation and the example, and plan to give a closing statement. You can just write it down as a rough note. You do not need to care much about the sentence structure or anything like that. Just that the idea needs to be there, and it needs to be understandable for you to develop your body paragraph in the writing stage. Hope you have planned using the CEEC method. Let's look at the example plan over here. So I have decided to support smartphones in this body paragraph. The central point of this particular paragraph is going to be the convenience that smartphones offer over the others. So how am I going to explain how the convenience is delivered to us by smartphones. We can avoid a lot of preparation steps, including planning to book tickets, traveling to the movie theaters, and watching the movie for at a stretch, and so on. As an example, I can say that Netflix and other OTT platforms allows us to pause and play the movie as and when we wish. I can conclude by saying that this feature cannot be offered by theaters. So, as far as planning is concerned, this is the base level of planning that you definitely need to have. However, let's say that you are good at planning and you have completed this level of planning in 3 minutes itself, and you have some more time to spare within the planning. You can plan for other aspects as well. When you're planning, you can plan for lexical resources, which is what are the high vocabulary words that you're going to use in your essay, and then you can also plan for the grammatical range and accuracy, which means you can plan which sentence will be using the conditional statements or which sentence will be using the complex structures and so on. For example, you can use the explanation in a conditional format or so on. This level of planning can be done in the first stage itself.
Before we go to the next step, if you found this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button. This will help this video reach out to more people who are preparing for the IELTS exam just like you. Hope you hit the like button. Let's move on to the next step.
So once planning is done, let's move on to the writing part. So in the writing phase of the essay, you need to develop the body paragraphs using the planned points that you did in the planning stage. It's very important that you ensure that there is no deviation away from the central point. It's also important that you make sure to relate the sentences back to the question. The main reason why we planned well ahead of time as to what we are going to write is that during the writing phase, we can concentrate on how we are going to write rather than thinking about what you're going to write. Since you're already clear as to what you're going to write, you can concentrate on the language and sentence structures that you're going to use in your essay. So let's look at the planned points that we have already developed for this question. So pause this video and give yourself a few minutes to write the body paragraphs based on the points that you planned. Hope you've written the body paragraph based on your plan. Let's look at the body paragraph that I have written using the planned points that I have prepared. So as you can see, this is the body paragraph that I have prepared. You can pause this video and have a read through of the body paragraphs. With that, we have come to the end of the writing phase. Now let's look at the correction phase. So you need to dedicate at least 5 minutes for correcting your essay. Even if you're really fluent in English, it is only human to make mistakes. So you need to dedicate some time to find out those mistakes and correct them. When you're correcting your essay, it's very important that you don't just glance through your essay but actually read each and every individual sentences thoroughly. Do not read through the essay with the assumption that you must have written the sentences correctly. Rather, have the intention of finding the mistakes with the assumption that you have definitely made mistakes in each and every individual sentence. On the flip side, it's also important that you do not overthink any particular sentence. There may be cases where you find a mistake in a sentence but you're not sure about how to correct that particular sentence. In that case, it's recommended that you mark the sentence using either an underline or an asterisk key depending on how you're giving the exam, and then move on to the next sentence so that you correct the entire essay and then you can come back to the sentence to correct your mistake. It is also important that you first focus on the easily correctable mistakes. So what do I mean by easily correctable mistakes? Easily correctable mistakes include several mistakes that you might have made either in the vocabulary front or grammatical mistakes. This can include article usage mistakes, singular plural mistakes, punctuation errors, subject-verb agreement mistakes, tense, spelling mistakes, word formation mistakes, missing words mistakes, which include typographical errors and all, and prepositions. There are also mistakes that might consume more time for correcting. This includes paraphrasing, which means that you might find that you have used the same word twice or 4 times in the essay, and you'd want to correct this by replacing the word with a synonym. However, finding synonyms during the correction phase is pretty hard. Hence, it's better if you mark the repeated words with an asterisk and then come back to these words after you corrected the entire essay. And then comes the mistakes that you should not concentrate on when you're correcting your essay. This includes sentence structures and the content of your response. Ideally speaking, these should have been taken care during the planning phase and the writing phase itself. Now that we know how to correct an essay, take yourself some time to take a look at the body paragraph that we have written in the writing stage and try to find the mistakes that have been committed in this body paragraph. You can pause this video in order to do this activity. Hope you found the mistakes in this body paragraph. Now let's look at the corrected version of this body paragraph. Now let's go through each individual mistakes that have been committed in this body paragraph. If you can see, the first sentence in the body paragraph contains a missing word. It was supposed to have the word it between convenience and provides. However, it was missing in the original version. Then comes the singular plural mistake, where film was referred in the singular manner when it should have been referred in the plural manner. Since we're talking about films in the general sense, which means it covers more than one particular film. Then comes the comma mistake. You need to have a comma immediately after for example. Later comes the subject-verb agreement mistake. Since we are talking about multiple OTT platforms such as Netflix, Amazon Prime and Disney Plus, we need to use allow instead of allows. Since allows is used to refer singular subjects while allow is used to refer plural subjects. Then comes an article usage mistake where the is inappropriately used. Theatres should not be prefixed with the over here, since we are not talking about any particular theatre, but we are talking about theatres in a general manner. Then comes another subject-verb agreement mistake where you need to reference makes with an S. Even though the verb comes after theatres, which is the plural, which might lead many people to write make in a plural manner, the actual subject of this sentence is the convenience that the theatres provide. This convenience is singular, which means that makes should also be singular. With that, we have come to the end of the essay life cycle. Let's recap what we learned in this video. It's very important that you need to plan for at least 5 minutes and you need to plan using the CEEC method for the body paragraphs. During the writing phase, you need to develop the planned points into well-structured sentences. You also need to avoid deviations when writing your response. Once you've completely written the essay, you need to dedicate at least 5 minutes for corrections and focus on easily correctable mistakes. Thank you for watching this video. If you need any clarifications or have any queries relating to IELTS, make sure you leave a comment below. We'll be reading all your comments and will try to answer all of your questions. If you want your essays or letters to be checked by us, you can visit our website so that you can get a comprehensive feedback on your work and suggestions on how to improve them. We have left a link to our website in the description box below. If you found this video helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more such content. We'll meet you on our next video. Till then, all the best on your IELTS exam.